Good evening, otherworldlies. This is Queen Juliana, your dark mask diva. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is small talk. Now, I keep having to go back to our pharmacy. Okay, remember the pharmacy? Remember how I go to the pharmacy and there's a bunch of bozos there? Okay, right now the bozos there are the people that are working there. And you're like, what? Okay, well, it's because they can't straighten out their computer system there. So, some of the people that work there are really cool. And then there's people that they're training there, and some of the people working there right now are just really rude, talking to the customers like they're stupid, and just kind of like promising them things that they can't deliver, and just kind of making people mad. A lot of the customers there are just like cussing people out, and some of the customers there are actually just acting rude themselves, and it's just kind of bringing out the worst nature in people. But a lot of the things that are going on in the pharmacy right now are people are just kind of sitting in the waiting area, which I call purgatory. And that's the nice area, waiting area, that I'm calling purgatory. The rest of it is just an area. I'm not going to tell you what I call it. But anyway, a lot of what's going on in that area is a lot of small talk. Okay, so some of the small talk is really like cool. Because some of the people there are just like down-to-earth, cool people, right? Some of them are, disgruntled, so it's not bringing out their higher nature. But some of the people there are really cool. So I'm sitting around and, talking to some really cool people. And we're having to sit there for hours and wait for our pills, only to be told that we need to come back in 2 or 3 days. So this is the second Wednesday that I've sat there for hours trying to get my pills right. This time I left with no pills. Last time I left with some pills. Okay. So today, I was told that I had to come back in a couple of days. All right. So, this was like not a very, it didn't come to fruition today. I'll just put it that way. So I decided to do my second content of the day on small talk. All right, because people were just saying how they did not like to make small talk. And I'm going to tell you why people don't like to make small talk, okay? And I'm not talking about the small talk in the pharmacy, because people don't really mind making small talk in the pharmacy, because everyone's there just kind of saying, hey, I'm dependent on medication for one reason or another, so we're all kind of in there down to earth, I mean, we don't say why we have to take medication, but we all have to take it for some reason. Some people are having pain management issues, so they're not being the friendliest. They're in pain. So and everyone there is obviously sick. They need their medication. All right. So it's not bringing out the best in people. But I'm going to talk about the small talk and why people don't like to make small talk. Okay. I'm going to talk about, like, I will sit in the pharmacy and I will just kind of chit chat with other people. Okay, so that kind of small talk is small talk I really don't mind. Like, hi, yeah, how long have you been waiting here? I've been here for a couple hours. Yeah, I went up to the window about 3 or 4 times. They said blah, blah, blah. They're rude, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that kind of small talk, something I really don't mind. Oh, hi, I think I saw you here the other day, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that kind of small talk is not intrusive. I'm going to talk about small talk. You're wondering why people won't make small talk with you. A lot of small talk makes people nervous, okay? There are about 3 different types of people as far as personality types go, with people chit-chatting, okay? There are introverts, there are extroverts, and there are ambiverts, okay? So I took a personality test, and of the 3 categories, I'm an ambivert, which means that half the time I'm introverted and the other half the time I'm extroverted. Okay, so I think I'm more of an extrovert than an introvert, so I'm more outgoing. Okay, so But there is a time where I just kind of need to, keep a lot of my business to myself. So I'm kind of, I like to have my privacy, right? So that's a part of me where I don't like to make a lot of small talk. So if somebody tries to get me on the phone or text me or starts up with just trying to make a lot of small talk with me, I'll start to get really nervous and uncomfortable, and I will try to get them off the phone or try to get them to stop texting me. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm just going to preface it by saying usually the people that are trying to make the small talk with me tend to be the kind of people who have asked a lot of favors of me in the past. Hi, Juliana, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, these are the kind of people who tend to usually want something from me, where I feel like they're testing my mood. They're trying to see what kind of day I'm having. They're trying to just, how are you? What's going on? They're trying to see what's going on in my day, what kind of mood I'm in, what's going on there. So, because I kind of think they want something. I kind of feel like they're trying to see what's going on. They're testing the water. They're trying to, and maybe it's just them being socially awkward. Maybe I'm not reading the situation correctly, but I can't help but feel that they want something, that they're asking all these really weird little questions because I feel like they're trying to get me to do something for them. So when they start in, I immediately, oh gosh, I'm really tired. I've had quite a day. Now it's not really the time. And I kind of shut the small talk down. So when they start in with that, I really just kind of do whatever I can to just kind of not ask them how they're doing and that kind of thing. And I do whatever I can to shut that situation down in a real hurry, because I just feel like they want something. How's it going? And that kind of thing. Just shut it down, because I can't escape the nagging feeling that they really just want something and they're just buttering me up for something. And there's another reason people don't like small talk. I feel like they're trying to get personal information out of you. Okay, it's just a little bit on the creepy side. There are some things that are more culturally accepted, among different groups of people, where they may ask more personal questions, and those things are more acceptable in other cultures than in other cultures. Where I've been around people with different cultures, and they will ask you some really personal questions, and you're like, I can't believe they went there. I can't believe they asked me something like that. That was just a little bizarre, and I will change the subject quickly, and then they'll try to ask me again, and I'll change the subject again. And I'll try to just get whatever interaction we were doing over with, and I'll just interrupt them when they're asking the personal question and say something else. So they'll stop, and they, maybe they have not studied up on, American culture to where they realize that that's inappropriate. And they'll ask the same question over and over and over and over, and I'll keep changing the subject over and over, and they will persist on asking the question, and I will keep persisting on changing the subject. And it's funny because they're not getting it, and they'll try to make this small talk and say the same thing just repeatedly. It's just absolutely crazy. And because it's too personal of a question. It's something that just makes you uncomfortable. I used to have this friend, and what I had to do is I ended up having to just block him on all medias, and I had to block his phone number and do all these things because he's never met my mother, but for some reason during our small talk he was always asking how my mom was. Well, he's never met her. I mean, I've never really ever met this guy in person. He was just somebody that I, befriended online, but he just always asked how my mom was. Well, he's really, he's sort of seeing the mom of one of his friends, so I know he's into moms. Well, he was always asking how my mom was. That made me really uncomfortable. So I just had to tell him, I really wish you would stop asking how my mom was. That makes me really uncomfortable. I go, where I'm from, if you ask how someone's mom is, that'll get you punched in the face. So I really need you to stop asking how my mom is. So I would have to remind him every other time I talked to him that he needed to stop asking how my mom was. And I would have to say it to him over and over and over. And so finally I'm thinking, okay, well, it was always on his roster when we had the small talk that he would always ask about my mom. I'm thinking, okay, so what I'm going to need to do is just kind of cut contact with this guy, because he won't stop asking about my mom. He doesn't know the lady. Now, when my high school friends ask about my mom, or somebody who actually knows my mom asks about her, that's fine. They know her. But I'm just like, is this guy, has he seen her on social media and likes her, or why does he keep asking about her? He's never met her. That it gave me a really uncomfortable feeling. And I'm from the hood. If you ask about someone's mama, that's a little, you're kind of asking for trouble when you're doing something like that. So, and he just wouldn't listen. I only wanted to have to tell him once, don't ask about my mom again. And he kept doing it. So I just had to cut contact with this guy. So, I don't do small talk with this guy anymore. I don't have contact with him anymore. So I was just tired of telling him to stop asking about my mother. It was just creepy. People, it just seemed like the people who would make small talk with me, they seemed to be the people who always wanted a favor. If I would go to do something with these people, they always ended up putting me out for some reason. I always ended up having to do them a favor for some reason, so it was just kind of like, it was weird. They were coincidentally the people that, wanted to do small talk. So I was a little uncomfortable. I didn't want to do small talk with him because I thought it probably was leading to something else, so I remember as a child, adults would try to make small talk with me, and I'd be sitting there thinking, am I in trouble? Why are they asking me these irrelevant questions? And none of the questions seem to be leading to anything. I'm thinking, am I in trouble? Why are they asking me all these different questions? How old are you now? And, I'm like, do they think I not know my own age? Why are they asking me these strange things? And it's just questions that adults ask kids, but I was just wondering, why are they asking me these questions? It's like, why are they making this conversation with me? And I couldn't help but escape the feeling that I was in trouble, because you're basically being interrogated by somebody. And you're not really allowed to ask questions back. If you think about it, if you're a child and an adult is asking you a bunch of questions, think about how uncomfortable that is. So you grow up into an adult and someone is asking you all these silly questions. You're just like, why am I being asked silly questions? And when you think about it, when you're making small talk with someone, when you're really trying to make a real conversation with them, some of these people that would make small talk with me, I'd try to have a real conversation, they'd cut me off. They didn't want to have a real conversation with me. So that told me that they really did want something. They didn't actually really want to talk. So that was another clue that there was an element of nonsense going on. So if you're trying to small talk with people and they're cutting you off and they're just like, think about it. Why are you trying to small talk with these people? What do you want? Seriously, it really does make people uncomfortable. It's really a bit of a manipulation tactic. A lot of people, there's really an art to small talk. You really need to learn to make people comfortable around you. So if you're trying to small talk people and they're trying to cut it short and they're trying to get away from you, you're obviously doing it wrong. You're not small talking the right way. You're digging for information. You're asking about people you have no business asking about. You're asking people personal questions that are just, obviously, they're none of your business. Okay, you're just making people around you uncomfortable. If they're changing the subject when you're asking them questions, they don't want you to ask them that question. Okay, if you're trying to make small talk with people and they don't want to talk to you, stop trying to do it. Okay, you're obviously not small talking right. Some people from different parts of the United States do not small talk. Okay, I think people from the South do more small talking. Certain people do not small talk. Okay, some people, if they are uncomfortable around you, they're just not going to talk to you. Okay, it's not customary. Don't ask about people you don't know. It's just rude. They're going to wonder why you're asking about those people. If you're calling someone on the phone you don't know and just trying to small talk with them or whatever, and they're trying to get you off the phone, let them get you off the phone. Okay, I'm going to just keep it real. They probably don't like you. Okay, because I've done it to so many people. All right, because they made me extremely uncomfortable. All right, and I'm very outgoing, so those people were making me uncomfortable. All right, because I was just like, they want something, I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to give it to them, and I'm not gonna try to, because I basically just wanted to say, what the F do you want? I don't know what you're trying to do, but you're not going to do it. So there's an art of conversation, and a lot of people just aren't artists. Okay, so if people don't want to small talk, don't try to force them to do it. Okay, you might consider too, a lot of people are on the autism spectrum. Okay, a lot of autistic people cannot make small talk. They just can't, because it's just something that they don't do. Okay, a lot of non-autistic people just don't want to have small talk with you. Okay, so don't try to force people to small talk. All right, but most people are cool. Most people, if you're not doing anything to make them uncomfortable, probably smile, say hello, whatever. But it doesn't have as much to do with people looking at their phones as you think it does. It has something to do with the fact that you're making them uncomfortable, and you need to realize that. All right, so this has been Queen Juliana, your dark mask diva, and I want you all to have a beautiful day and think about the way you're affecting other people. All right, and don't small talk people that don't want it. All right, I love you all. Bye bye.